Hey y'all, this is Southern Woods here. Welcome to another simulation video. What would happen if the top 69 North American cities went head to head to see which city would take over America? That's what we're going for today. We have some large cities in Mexico, Canada, and of course the US. Some very famous and notable ones: New York, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Miami, New Orleans. Pretty much any big city you can think of. The top ones are on this map. Now, let's get started. As you can see, they're already racing to get this territory. They're starting from where the city is. We have our first battles going on. Canada in the western portion is very heated. We have some battles going on between New Orleans and Houston right now. St. Louis is getting into that. Prince George was the first to be conquered by Victoria up in Canada. Zoom in a little bit here. Las Vegas going at it with Denver. Miami's in a big naval battle against Cancun. Philadelphia just fell to Toronto. Philadelphia, one of the more historic and known cities, gone. Phoenix was conquered by Albuquerque. Albuquerque and Las Vegas going to get a lot of that. We got Thunder Bay and Port George up here battling it out. A couple of big areas up here in Canada. New Orleans just fell to St. Louis. St. Louis actually becoming one of the larger cities already. Oh man, Atlanta. My Atlanta conquered by Charleston. Charleston and St. Louis going to get a lot of that. Cancun fell to Pueblo. Looks like Schlellville is going to be the next to fall. Yes, they are to St. John. Seattle was conquered by Victoria up here in the northwest. Man. Goose Bay conquered by St. John's, and San Diego conquered by Las Vegas. San Diego is no more in California. Heated battle between Monterey and what was like Chihuahua or something like that. Huge contested battle in the eastern portion of Canada up here. Boston was the next to fall to Montreal. Tampico fell to Acapulco or something like that. My Spanish isn't great, I apologize. So Canada is getting the upper hand against some of these northeastern U.S. cities already. Frederickson fell to Charlottetown. Houston just got conquered by St. Louis. So St. Louis really big up here. Fort George may fall to Thunder Bay here in a minute. Meanwhile, Mexico City was conquered. Yeah, Fort George just fell to Thunder Bay. So Thunder Bay getting a lot of this area. Already we have 53 cities/nations left. Las Vegas conquered by Denver. New York conquered by Toronto. So Canada keeps going south into the U.S. St. John looking long over here. Albuquerque just fell to Oklahoma City. So with that, we have 50 cities/nations left already. Let's look at some statistics, shall we? In terms of area, Denver's technically the largest, followed by this city in one of the cities in Canada that I can definitely not pronounce, followed by St. Louis, and then Thunder Bay up here in Canada. Talking about economy, the strongest economy is, again, this, I don't even see it on the map. This one? Yeah, this city/nation's the richest, followed by Churchill, Edmonton, and then Chicago. So the three most rich countries/cities so far, all in Canada. Looking up here, it was a little bit cut off, but yeah, we have some battles going up in the furthest northern part of North America. Oh wow, St. John just captured by Halifax. Halifax isn't going to get much of that though. It's going to be St. John's and Thunder Bay getting larger, mainly. Calgary conquered by Regina. Ottawa may be the next to fall to Toronto. They're getting definitely close. Yes, Toronto conquered Ottawa. Yellowknife got some more territory up here. Charlottetown conquered by Halifax. So Halifax getting kind of big. Chicago just conquered by Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's going to get a lot of that. Same with St. Louis. St. Louis, huge over here in the middle part of the Mississippi. The Great Plains area up here kind of being contested for. We have some smaller cities in the western portion of Canada. trying to hold on. One of them was Janu, which just fell. That may have been Alaska. Minneapolis conquered by Regina. So Regina getting huge again. Canada's pushing south into America. These Canadian cities, not to be messed with, I suppose. Raleigh and Charleston going war at each other. Oh wow, Denver was the next to fall to Sacramento, which really got almost all of their land really quickly. Sacramento's looking big. Charleston just fell to St. Louis, but St. Louis is getting double teamed by San Antonio and Milwaukee. St. Louis gonna fall any second, it looks like. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C., our capital, conquered by Toronto. The Canadians absolutely taking over now. Vancouver's conquered by Victoria up here, and then Pueblo got some more land in Mexico. St. Louis still holding on, although Jacksonville trying to take some of this land that they got cut off by San Antonio and Milwaukee. Winnipeg struggling to fight off Churchill. San Antonio moving in the naval battle. St. Louis finally fell to San Antonio. My pronunciation of things is a little whack today. Yeah, Winnipeg fell to Churchill. Monterrey fell to San Antonio as well. San Antonio moving into Mexico. We had Montreal being conquered by St. John's. We're down to 32 nations. Miami conquering a lot of these islands of Jamaica, Haiti. Dallas just fell to El Paso. Meanwhile, Chihuahua got a lot of this land over here, trying to get a little bit of Baja California. We have Yellowknife moving into Edmonton up here in Canada. Some naval battles going on in the Gulf. Edmonton looking scary, close to falling. Toronto took Norfolk. Lots going on. Whoa, big nation fell up here. Thunder Bay was conquered by Detroit. So there we go, an American city trying to get some of Canada. Meanwhile, Edmonton fell to Prince Rupert. We're down to 25 nations left already. So this is kind of what it's looking like. We have some American cities left with some land. Detroit over here has a good bit. Raleigh struggling, but Jacksonville has a good bit of the southeast. Miami has some of these Caribbean nations. Sacramento pretty big. Portland fairly big in the west. But hey, Regina from Canada moving down into America. We have Toronto having all of New England basically. Looking down to Mexico. El Paso, Chihuahua getting a little bit bigger. Puebla has a good bit going on. In terms of total land, again, it's this nation up here that has all of these northern, ice islands up here in Canada. They have the most territory right now, still followed by Regina and Churchill. So these Canadian nations still the largest. Let's see who's the richest. Prince Rupert up here in the western part of Canada. Detroit's actually second, and then St. John's and Toronto. So we'll see what happens. Halifax being invaded by Toronto a little bit. Yellowknife being taken over rapidly by this big nation up here. They are taken care of. San Antonio was just conquered by Puebla, who just, I guess, naval invaded up here in this part of southern Texas. Meanwhile, San Francisco conquered by Sacramento. La Paz gets a little bigger. Trying to move into deeper into Baja California. Miami, big naval battle with Puebla right now. Puebla, again, stretching out, using their navy to conquer different ports and whatnot. Raleigh conquered by Toronto, so Toronto moves a little bit deeper into the south. Miami struggling against Puebla. La Paz moving deeper into Mexico. Halifax conquered by St. John's. So they have all this eastern portion of Canada over here. We have LA and Sacramento going at it right now. LA going to get double teamed by Sacramento and Chihuahua and get taken out. So LA is gone. Who will be the last city standing? We have this little city down here, barely alive, carving out their piece of Puebla, staying with it. Meanwhile, we have Prince Rupert, who's cut off rapidly by Portland. Chihuahua conquered by El Paso. And then La Paz conquered by El Paso too. El Paso bullying people out here in Mexico. Prince Rupert may be the next to fall. Their land, they still have some land over here. Meanwhile, Churchill's conquered by this large nation, which eventually I'll have to have no choice but try to pronounce it. Puebla has most of Mexico, some of the southern parts of the Mississippi, a little bit of what Jamaica or Haiti over here. Sacramento expanding rapidly, trying to get into the more midwestern part of the U.S. Down to 15 nations. We have this large naval insurrection over here by this little city, holding their own in the Gulf a little bit. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City was conquered by Sacramento. El Paso, big expansion. Prince Rupert finally conquered by Portland. Toronto conquered by Jacksonville, who's moving up north, saying we need to fight back against the Canadians. One of the few U.S. cities left. Doesn't help that Sacramento and Portland are going against each other. But hey, they're all trying to take over the world. They're not really teaming up. Detroit the next to fall against Jacksonville. Big war against this big nation. I'm finally going to try to pronounce it. Iqaluit. Ugh. I definitely butchered it. Meanwhile, Sacramento flooded by Portland. El Paso going to get a lot of that. Portland expanding rapidly into the north and conquered Inuvik. I don't know. Portland now huge, massive. We have 9 nations left. Let's kind of examine this map. Jacksonville, Miami, Portland, I think are the only 3 U.S. cities left. We have this large one up here in Canada, St. John's and Regina, only 3 Canadian. And then Puebla, this one, Acapulco, and El Paso. So it's fairly even in terms of each country's representation. We have 3 in Mexico, 3 from the U.S., and 3 from Canada, and all have at least fairly one larger nation going on. Canada may have the advantage here. Let's look at the economy real quick. Portland, by far the largest economy, followed by El Paso and Jacksonville. Regina, Acapulco, and Puebla, they may fall soon if they run out of money, run out of funds. Alright, we have like a 3-way battle between Puebla, Miami, and Jacksonville. Puebla actually going to get some of southern Georgia and Alabama. Regina being flooded by Iqaluit, and Iqaluit looking huge. Meanwhile, this little city in Mexico finally fell. Puebla finally took them over. They were holding their own for a second, but there was no way. St. John's now being flooded by Iqaluit. El Paso being flooded by Pueblo. A big invasion to the north of Mexico. Pueblo also setting their sights on Jacksonville that had to move to like Memphis. Or no, that's Atlanta. It was Atlanta. Now they move into Charlotte. Former Charlotte capital. Oh, all of a sudden, everyone turning on the Iqaluit or whatever it's called. Wow, like 4 people turned. Miami and Pueblo flooding in still. Wow, they just ran out of economy and everyone's going to try to take them over. That's crazy. And it looks like it's going to be Portland actually that gets the knockout punch. That's crazy. Miami now looking big, taking over Puebla that I think exhausted all the resources evading so far up north into Canada. Well, now everyone's turning on Miami. They didn't like Miami getting that big, I guess. And El Paso now going to turn on Puebla. Wow. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of things going on. People really taking advantage of each other. These 6 nations are left. 1 from Canada now. Well, Puebla just fell, so 1 from Mexico and 2 from the U.S. It says there's 5 nations. I only see 4. Is there one I'm missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I guess I'm tripping. There must be something going on. Well, Miami fell, so El Paso going to get all of the Caribbean, basically. St. John's, Portland. Who is this final nation? El Paso? Is El Paso? Well, El Paso's dead. Oh, I guess it was Jacksonville is somewhere. I don't know. Either way, St. John's out of nowhere took it over while I was confused. It says there's 2 nations left, but like, dog, where's Jacksonville? It's non-existent. So, wow. St. John's out of nowhere just took over everything while I was being a confused dummy. So, congratulations, St. John or St. John's. I don't know if that's a typo or if I did it correctly and just isn't believing that it's actually St. John's. Regardless, a Canadian city took over North America with origins all the way in the northeast of Canada. So congratulations. A lot was going on there. I thought that was fairly exciting. If you want to see a rematch, let me know. I'll hold off and keep this map around on my save files. I'm sorry, my pronunciation not the best today, but you know, I was into it, so that's always good. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more of these videos, outdoor videos, food reviews, anything like that, hit the subscribe button and join the Southern Woods community. Without further ado, again, round of applause to St. John's. Southern Woods out.